been the end of that'll be the end of this video. Yeah, it's classic that, isn't it? Leaving your phone on the roof. How many people have done that? I don't think I've actually ever done that. Well, I've done it, but I don't think I've actually lost a phone doing it. I know people that have. Yeah, just filling my hen bins up. I've got the feed lorry coming in the morning, so I've got to make sure the bin's empty. My big bin, I mean. So go and see I've got room for one more load, and then in my little bins, and then see how we get on. Tray underneath the filter, and he's just taken that off, and it's absolutely clogged full of leaves and crap. So they're not very easy things to clean. That's probably why I've avoided doing it for the last couple of years. But they want soaking in petrol or something and blowing out with the airline. So he's doing that. So I'm just trying to get this bin. If it won't fit in here, might have to. I've got another one of these red. Well, you've probably seen in older videos. I've got another one of these red bins that'll take. Well, it'll probably hold about 3 or 4 ton, but I can only put as much in it as I can lift with this JCB, because obviously I could store 3 or 4 ton of it, but then I can't get it back out unless I can lift it up in the air. So, and can't really mount it. I've thought about like putting it up on and making a stand for it up in the air, but then I can't get the stuff into it because I can't lift high enough. It's got to be on the floor for me to be able to lift up above it to fill it. So yeah, there's no way around that really. But it works alright. I can just put like a ton and a half in it, because usually, because we have 2 different hen food mixes, so there's 2 sheds that are on like an early lay mix for the first half of their lay, and then the older 2 flocks have a slightly lower protein mix. I've probably said all this before, but we've only got the one bin, so we just have to juggle it. Sometimes if we're running out of early one of the mixes like we are now, I've got to make sure that I get the what was in the bin out of the way so they don't get mixed up. It's a bit of a faff. We used to just run them all on one. We used to just keep them all on the starter lay, but it's quite expensive, and also it really pushes the egg sizes. You end up pushing your egg sizes, you know, bigger and bigger. When we found that we didn't really need, as soon as they're at the point where they're laying sort of 30 or 40% large, with the rest of them being medium, that's good enough for us. Whereas some people want to push them up to like 50 or 60% large if they're selling mostly retail. So it depends it just depends what the demand is, I suppose. But we try not to push them because we can't sell a lot of medium. Our customers don't seem to be fussy in that way. The worst part of having smaller eggs on the whole is that you get a lot less extra large, obviously, and like extra large you could sell for days. You could sell as many extra large as you wanted for whatever price you wanted, really, because nobody's ever got enough extra large. I mean, if all your hens were laying extra large, they wouldn't lay for very long. It'd knacker your hens out, but they aren't half easy to sell. People really like extra large, a lot, I suppose, because a lot of the times they're double yolk, because it's just a bit of a novelty. But if a hen's laying a double yolk egg, it's only going to lay 2 or 3 eggs a week as opposed to 6 eggs a week. So that's why they need to be top money, really, because you just it's not sustainable to produce them. Anyway, empty this bin now. Made some little ladders for my other bins, and I ended up making 3, just because I don't know, I thought it doesn't really bother me because you can just you can climb up on the side of the bins, but I just thought, well, if something happened to me and someone else has got a feed, it's not really very safe perching on the side of the bin. So I thought I'll make some ladders and it'll just make it easier in case anyone else has to do it, and for me, really. So I set about and I made 3 because at the time we only really had 3. We sort of had one shed empty, because there wasn't as much demand for eggs, so I thought, oh, well, 3 will do. I sort of got bored making them, to be fair. If I make the same thing over and over again, it gets a bit boring, doesn't it? I'll show you this one I made. Yeah, it just it steps away from the bin, so it gives you a bit of a ledge to stand on, which makes it a lot easier. So you've got to get all your weight behind the slide on the bin to open it. So yeah, it's on my jobs list to make another one for my last bin, but it's one of them, innit? It never seems to get to the top of the list. Well, neither of those bins were quite empty, so they only took just over half a ton each. So dog doing over there? You see there's a dog lurking behind that wheelbarrow. What are you doing? Strange. You alright? You just chilling? He's a weird dog, this. Kemlin his name is. He's named after a friend who I bought him off. Came from Anglesey. He's a bloody good sheepdog, but he's not really. I wouldn't say he's like you'd want him as a pet. Quite very well, like any decent collie would be. He's very obsessive. Got his own sort of obsessive nature. You know, you could almost see the tracks of the way he moves about the yard every day. You know, runs in and out of the pig shed, and when you go in the cattle, he's running round and round the cattle constantly. Yeah, he doesn't get worked anywhere near enough really. We haven't got enough sheep. Maybe we will have one day, but he just wants to be out working sheep every day. He's just got that drive. He just wants to be out working. He just wants something to do. And I noticed, you know, if you don't move any sheep for a couple of weeks, he sort of forgets the commands, the directions, and yet, you know, even because I've been rounding the sheep up a bit the last couple of days to worm them and sort them and weigh them and whatever. He was right the last time I worked him yesterday. He was right on the money. You know, every time I said a weigh come by, he got it bang on. Yeah, he's obviously from good stock. I've got my other dog, Jip, isn't quite as keen. He's getting a bit older now. He's ever since we got Kem, he's slowed right down, and he just thinks, well, I'll let Kem do the legwork. Jip tends to do as he's told, but he's not very enthusiastic. He won't go running 2 fields away. He won't run off like a rocket and keep going till he finds some sheep like Kemlin does. He'll help you if you go with him, sort of thing. Which was fine when we first started out. We only had a couple of sheep, and he was ideal really. He was dead good with chickens and things. But if you want him to go and fetch some sheep from 2 fields away, you've got no chance. Just look at you like you're bloody mad. And he was more of a pet really. He was a bit babied. Anyway, we're going to see what the looks like my van's getting washed. And see what the maintenance team